Welcome back to Bluegrass. It's a beautiful October afternoon. I'm out with Cole, a 16-month-old English Labrador Retriever. Or, for those of you in the know, you know he's not actually an English Labrador Retriever. He was bred in Ohio, right? That's just how people in the States refer to Labrador Retrievers that are bench or show bred, or in other words, just really good looking. Okay, but we're just kind of taking a walk and doing some fun middle of the day activities. So basically what I'm going to do with this dog, so I'm just going to walk around. His owner, retired Air Force guy, and he got this dog mainly to be a house dog, but he wants to go hunting sometimes, right? Well, the problem that we run into with the English style dogs is that they don't have a tremendous amount of drive, okay? And what I mean by that is like, with the field bred dogs, you just go out any time of the day. Back up there, cameraman, let me show them what I'm talking about. Look who just came into the picture. So this dog is Annie. She's 7 weeks old, and she's a field bred dog. And her endurance level is about the same as Cole's. Cole's 16 months. It's pretty funny. But anyway, we're just gonna walk around. Go ahead and go down this path here, cameraman. But we're just gonna walk around, and we're gonna kind of gradually, over the time that Cole's with us, encourage him to get out and hunt a little bit and fetch, and make him look at going out and looking for things and bringing them back to us as a fun experience, okay? We can't push him very hard. We can't expect a lot of repetitions per session, so what we do is we just do a lot of sessions per day. So I've got him. He's pretty excited here. That's about as excited as he gets. Look, I'm gonna take my little sock with a wing in it, and I'm gonna throw it off in the woods, and then I'm gonna wait for him to come back. Now, I don't think the cameraman could see you there, so what's going to happen is I'm going to have the cameraman back up and show you what I'm doing. Oh, come on, Cole, you a good boy. You a very good dog. Oh, he's a very good dog. All right, so basically what's happening is I come out here, and since I know I can't just station Cole up and just do retrieve after retrieve after retrieve, I just walk around. And as I'm walking around, just every so often, I throw my retrieving item off into the brush a little bit. So back up there a little bit, cameraman. Now, one of the things you'll see, we're like in the sun, right? We'll move over here to the shade, and he's gonna do probably a little better in the shade because the black dogs just kind of soak up the heat. But as I'm walking, well, let me just walk this way, cameraman. You can see from behind. So I'll just turn this way. So as I'm walking, I just take my thing, I'm getting him a little bit excited, and then I'm tossing it off the trail a little bit. Now, it's very important that you keep walking here. Oh my gosh, come on, you can do it. Oh, he's a very good dog. You can back up, you can call him, you can do anything. You bend down, okay? But you gotta kind of create some space so that the dog wants to shut that space down naturally. If you don't do that with this style lab, if you move towards them or if you reach over them, what they'll do is they'll just spit their retrieving item out and look at you. Like, hey, are you gonna get this retrieving item and throw it for me again? Okay, happens all the time. All right, so go ahead and walk back that way, cameraman. So we're walking. I'll get Cole. Now I'm looking for really like easy places for him to fetch here, because if I put too much adversity on him, he's just not gonna fetch. Okay, I just throw it over there a little ways. Now watch, I'm gonna keep moving. I'm gonna move up here, there you go. And by creating this distance, I make it much more likely that he's gonna try to close down that distance, and he's gonna forget about like dropping the retrieving item. Because if I move towards this dog, he just spits it out and looks at me like, okay, I've got it, now throw it for me again. And I know a lot of you guys, go this way, cameraman. I know a lot of you guys with this style lab have that same trouble in the fetching, okay? Now, right here, I've got a little shady spot in this area. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk up to the shady spot, and I'm gonna throw my retrieving item out into the sunny spot, right? So I'm gonna be in the cool spot and throw my retrieving item into the sunny spot, which is gonna increase his desire to come back to me to get to where it's comfortable, because these dogs are all about being comfortable. So I get to the nice, cool, shady spot, throw my retrieving item. Oh my gosh, what a good dog Cole is. Come on, you can do it. Now look, so I'm losing him, so I'm gonna move backwards. Come on, Cole. Oh my gosh. Now look, by opening up that space, oh my gosh, come on. Now look, he's wanting to stop in that shade. Come on, Cole, you can. Listen, and that's English Lab for you, right there. And what he's saying basically is, come on, peasant, come get this and entertain me. It's very funny. Oh my gosh, he's a funny dog. He's a funny dog. All right, now, I can't end on that, on that note. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to have the cameraman back up, and we're gonna get another retrieve, and then we'll go back to walking him, and we'll bring this back out in a few minutes. So I throw it, not very far this time. Oh my gosh, that's a good boy. Now maybe get one more rep. Oh my gosh, what a good dog he is. So that's 2 successful reps. That kind of made up for my not so successful rep. And we'll just go back to walking. All right, come on, Cole. One of the things that'll happen to you with these English style Labrador Retrievers is that you'll get very frustrated that they don't retrieve dummies or balls or whatever it is that you might like to throw, you know, very well. That doesn't mean they're not going to be a pretty decent hunting dog, right? It just means that, like, this kind of stuff, they don't find it necessarily super interesting, okay? And then when you see Annie come back into the frame here in a second, that's a dog whose parents and grandparents and great-grandparents were all selectively bred to retrieve anything and everything that they can possibly get in their mouth. And come here, Annie, come on. So this little dog here, okay, when she's 16 months old, I can throw a rock or a stick or whatever I want, and she's gonna go get it and fetch it. And that's what my standard is for this kind of dog, okay? Now, but here's the truth. She's probably not gonna be quite as good looking as this guy right here, right, okay? And so, like, there's a price to be paid. If you want them to be too awful good looking, well, then maybe they're not gonna work so hard, right? And if you want them to work super, super hard, maybe they're not gonna be so good looking, right? Okay, and you get whichever thing that you choose to emphasize, right? Like in your purchasing decision, you got to live with it. Okay, you have to live with it. We'll go over here and do some more fun stuff. I always have to, with these English Labs, try to keep my training super varied because they get a little bored, you know. Come on, Cole, you can do it. One of the most important aspects of raising the field-bred dogs is that, like, they're extremely pattern cognizant, and like adherence to patterns, right? Okay, is what we call self-reinforcing. So they don't even really need much in the way of treat work when they're young, especially as it relates to fetching. Okay, they kind of just need to tag along with you. I call it bum training. You know, I just bum around and let the little dogs follow me where they will. Okay, and you can see, I mean, 7 weeks old versus 16 months old, right? Okay, you can kind of see the difference. With this little dog, he just saw us getting up here on the woodpile and said, well, I guess I'm supposed to do that. With Cole, he stopped down there and looked at me and he said, hey, what's in it for me? Like, I'll get up there if there's something obvious in it for me. And for this little dog, what's obviously in it for her is just to be a part of the activities, right? Okay, this is very important, guys. When you go to picking dogs, like the dog that you pick, right, that's the standards that you have to think about. If you get one that's bred like this, then don't be mad at it when it's 16 months old and it doesn't want to do the same thing over and over and over again, right? Okay, now if you get one like this when it's 16 months old and like you've been out fetching with it and it goes in and it takes a nap for 10 minutes, don't be surprised that it says, okay, I rested, let's go back outside and do some more fetching, okay? I get that all the time. I'm doing an online course for a lady that bought a Weimaraner, and you know, it's been doing pretty well, but now it's 6 months old, and like, you know, what's a Weimaraner bred to do? Run away from its handler and chase birds, and it's pulling on the leash, and the lady's very frustrated. And I try to explain to her, look, it's what you bought, you know? I mean, you can't escape genetics, guys. In the dog business, genetics is destiny. Look at that. Now, I could claim to be some kind of expert dog trainer. That dog's 7 weeks old. I'm not an expert dog trainer. I'm an expert dog buyer. All right, now, so we're going to walk over here. I'm going to get, hey, cameraman, why don't you go over that way? And I'm going to come over in the shade a little bit and try to get 1 or 2 more repetitions with Cole. I'm going to get nice short repetitions in the shade here while he's fooling around in the fire pit. So I get my retrieving item out, and I'm going to sit down a little bit. You can go kind of go on back that way. Now I know Cole's a little bit tired, doesn't have the most drive in the world, so my retrieving is going to be a little bit of teasing here, right? And then a short distance fetch. And then I like to pair it with the food, because these English Labs, they really love the food. Come on, buddy. And people often ask me, they're like, Stonnie, if you do the inductive retrieve, you know, with the food work, do you always have to use food work? No, what I have to do is stack successful repetitions. And so that means that I'm going to have to do some number of 100 repetitions where I also tie like the food work into bringing that back and handing it to me. But then we'll reach what's called a habituation threshold, and the dog will just be in the habit of bringing it to me. And when that happens, we're off to the races. You're a very good dog. Come on, come on. Now you see how he kind of gets it and he wants to stop right there? I'm gonna open the space up. Come on, come on. You can do it. And when I open that space up, he'll move to close it down, okay? It's really, really important with these, you know, show-bred labs, not to stand over them, not to repeat yourself, like fetch, 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 retrieve, give it to me, not to reach out at them, because what they'll do is they'll just spit that retrieving item out and look at you. Okay, and I mean, I see it all the time in my journals. Back on up there, cameraman, we're gonna get one more rep. Tease him just a little bit. Oh my gosh, very nice dog. If he brings it all the way, that's gonna be great. Now we'll do one where, like, we'll just pretend that he was hesitating a little bit and I'll open up space. So I throw it, and then I'll go this way. Oh my gosh, come on, you can do it. Oh my gosh, he's a very good dog. Oh my gosh. And I'll move backwards, 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 bend down. Let him bring it to me, click, treat, go back my walk, head up, eyes out, okay? Notice that I'm not focusing on him, I'm not fussing at him, I'm just like trying to put him in a position where I can build on his natural tendencies to move towards me if there's space created, right? And I'm also trying to like take advantage of the fact that all these show-bred labs love to eat, okay? So we'll go back walking. Now you might be able to see this right here. Now guys, basically how this little dog's going to get trained is she's just going to follow us around while we train other dogs and make videos and pretty much train herself, right? So if you want to make it easy on yourself as a dog trainer, don't pay any attention to how a dog looks. Just buy them based on how they act. And if you buy a dog based on how its parents and grandparents and great-grandparents acted, you're going to be pretty happy unless you change the definition of what makes you happy, which does happen some. Okay, we'll walk. Now you can get behind me, cameraman. I'll try to get one more little brush pile challenge in with this dog and one more retrieve, and then we'll go back to the kennel. Very nice. Now, for those of you who've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I'm really big in environmental socialization. This is what we call the brush pile challenge. I like to climb up on the brush pile and encourage the dog to figure out how to come up here and get me, right? This right here is a good general, like gives me a good general idea of a dog's attachment to me and their proprioception, their physical and mental resilience, because it's hard to get up here, you know. And so with some of the dogs, like when I climb up here, they just naturally, they'll do anything they can to get to me. These English labs, a lot of times when I come out, they look at me like, hey dude, what are you doing up there on the brush pile? And so what I have to do is I have to add a little extra incentive here. Come on, Cole, you can do it. And tell him that, like, hey, if you come up here, something really good's gonna happen. Now, he doesn't know exactly what he's doing, so I'm gonna break this down into little bite-sized pieces, and I'm gonna come over here and kind of lead him, right? Come on, dude, you can do it. And look at him, see how he's kind of pussyfooting around here. He doesn't know where to put his feet. Okay, he just doesn't really know what he's doing. That's a combination of things. Part of that is because, like, you know, he didn't get this type of early environmental socialization, and part of it is just because these kind of dogs, you know, they're not bred to do this kind of stuff. And then when you're doing your retrieving with dogs that have these environmental sensitivities, that's where they a lot of times don't want to come back in a straight line, or if there's some kind of physical problem between them and the thing that they're retrieving, they'll give up a little bit just because they think it's hard, you know. Now, if I feel like where I'm at on the brush pile, like the dog just can't find a good line, then I'll just move down and I'll find an easier spot. So like down on this side, you can see how we kind of build it where it slopes up. Come on, you can do it. And he's really working. And I really appreciate that. So when he gets up here, I'm going to tell him I appreciate it. People a lot of times will say, you know, hey, Stonnie, like, why don't you just pet them and praise them? Well, okay, at the end of the work week, there's two lines. One's an attaboy line, a pat on the back, and the other line is a $100 bonus line. Which one are you gonna get in first, right? Okay, well this dog here, this type of dog, they really, really like food. So it's kind of like a $1,000 bonus line. Oh, come on, Cole, you can do it. Come on, Cole, you can do it. Very nice. Now I'm going to back up a little farther. Again, this is the same concept as before where I'm opening up space. The mistake I would make here is going back and getting closer to the dog. As I close down the space, he has less incentive or less motivation, okay, to try to get to where I am. So I have to come this way and then move away and open up space. Very nice. Good dog. Come on, you can do it. Come on, you can do it. Find a way, dude. Very nice. Very nice. Oh my gosh, he's the smartest boy I've ever seen. Oh, that's a very good dog. That's a very good dog. Oh my gosh, Cole's a big boy. Very nice. Oh, you a smarty. Very nice, good boy. Now we'll go back. We'll get back on our path. Now, he went under this on the way down here, but I'm going to clear him a little bit of a path to make it a little bit easier. The great thing about brush piles is they are infinitely reconfigurable. Oh, come on, Cole, you can do it. Look at that. Labrador goat. Very nice. You're a very smart boy. Okay, all right, cameraman, I'm going to go on down this way. Now what we'll try to do is we'll try to get maybe 1 or 2 more little short fetches in, and then we will head back to the kennel. Now, you know, around here, what's something that you'll notice when you watch my videos a lot is our training is interspersed throughout the day. We do a little here, a little there, a whole bunch sometimes, not very much sometimes, okay? Because that's how real life goes, you know. Some days with your dog, you get to get out and spend all day out doing fun stuff with them, and some days, you just got a few minutes here or there, okay? And so we try to make sure they understand that, you know, as soon as they start getting here, is we're gonna go out, we're going to do some work. The work is going to lead to the fun stuff, but sometimes, like in, you know, my own life, the fun stuff gets interrupted by more work. And some days there's more work than others. Same thing with the dog. All right, so even though Cole is a little bit tired here, I feel like we can probably end with 1 or 2 good retrieves. If I can drag him away from that deer poop. So I'm going to stay up here in the shade. Throw the retrieving item down that way. Go, come on. Go. Very nice. Very good. And we'll get 1 more. Hello. Now look, he's a little distracted. What a good boy. What a good boy you are. Very nice. Okay, now, so there's a few tips for if you want to do some adventuring and retrieving with an English style Labrador Retriever, okay, you know. But again, like if it's super important to you, the retrieving and the adventuring, okay, then get a dog that's bred to be very pattern cognizant and very athletic and have an extreme amount of drive, okay. So I get that question all the time, Stoney, what kind of lab should I get? Look, 7 weeks old, 16 months old, right? And I think that just this video does a really good job of kind of showing you how these two dogs, you know, just approach life, okay? This one right here wants to be a part of everything you do. And even at 7 weeks old, she's just full of pee and vinegar. You know, she wants to be everywhere doing everything the big dogs do, okay? Cole, he's awesome, but he's a little bit better for laying around the kennel and having people come in and pet him and love on him and maybe kick a ball for him or something, because what he really likes to do is he likes to have you kick the ball or throw the ball, and then he goes and gets it. Like he'll run and get it, and he'll bring it back a little ways, and he'll just drop it and look at you. And I swear they look at you like peasants. I mean, I really think they come here and they're like, peasant entertain me. You know? Maybe that's not true. Maybe that's just my projection, but that's how I feel sometimes. Very nice. But they're pretty easy to manipulate. Oh my gosh, if you understand the type specific characteristics, okay, and you start early and you design your training regimen properly and you tie your retrieving into the inductive retrieve because they have such tremendous food drive. All right, guys, I'll see y'all next week. Come on, dogs. You're a good boy, Cole. Come on, we got to get back to the kennel. Come on, Andy, come on. Very nice dog.